All right, guys, welcome in. We're going to do an interview here today with we got Aralis from ID and Roll Off from ID, and then we got a Coup from RPK. Also, we have Malik, the creator of the Artisans, and myself, which I am an artisan as well. Our channel here is just to educate people on the game as much as possible, bring as many people into the game as possible, and educate them quickly, to help them find guilds, explain the game, and pass them to a guild that's kind of into their play style. So we are actually doing a talk on faction and reputation today. So we'll go around the table here, kind of introduce ourselves, and we'll start with Aralis, which is the leader of ID. Go ahead there, Aralis.
Well, hello there. Yes, long-term leader of ID, famously old and enjoying every minute of it. I really don't think there's a lot else basic to be said.
Roll off, you're up, friend.
I'm Rolufe, long-time player of MO1 and also the MO2 alpha. Streamer, content creator. Yeah, that's it.
Mr. Coup.
Well, this is a Coup, founder and leader of RPK, and at MO1, my main character was named Zvi.
All right, Malik, go ahead.
Hi there, I'm Malik. I'm one of the leaders of the Artisans Guild, and I also help Brad out in the channel every once in a while.
All right. Okay, so we posted the document in the channel for everybody to follow along with. If it's not, if new people come in, we'll put it back in there for you. So we're gonna open up with, I guess, roll off. You can start at what point you want to start on, or read through it, or however you guys want to take this
Well,
off
I
from
think
here.
I think before we talk about the doc, the
Sure.
purpose of it was Rolufe and I were on Putson's one of his podcasts, and
Yes.
afterwards we were just talking, and Rolufe and I obviously completely opposite views, and how we play the game as well, but I do recognize that, griefing and stuff like that, it does hurt player retention, with the newbies. So, you know, and the thing is, from a griefer's perspective, if it's within the game mechanics, you're going to do it. And, a lot of we can't help ourselves. It's just the way it is. So, how do you stop that? It's by changing the game mechanics, and that's where Rolufe and I, you know, we were just chatting and we had all these ideas, and then I think it was Rolufe was like, we should be writing this down. So, and that's how it
Actually,
started.
you did.
Oh, I said it. All right.
I just automatically went and opened the document.
Yeah. So I know, Rolufe, you're probably better at actually explaining things. I know I can get long-winded at times. Um, so I'll let you actually explain the document itself.
So
Okay.
let's point out that RPK and ID are completely opposite way of gameplay. One is full on kill, the other one is, you know, kind of territory and help new players in the game type of thing, if I'm not
But
mistaken.
I
Yeah,
also have
that's
the belief when you have polar opposite views, like even in politics, it's when both sides come together and you get an idea in the middle. It's all about moderation. Uh,
Hmm.
um, Collaborative ideas from opposite ends of the spectrum, I feel, create the best ideas.
I would agree with that, but it doesn't have to be moderation. One of the sort of taking real world politics for a second. If you remember the banking crash sort of 10 years ago, one of the fascinating things in America was that the right-wing Republicans were not in favour of bailing out the banks, and the left-wing Democrats weren't in favour of bailing out the banks. But the middle on both sides got together and did it.
Hmm.
And I think the extremists on both sides were right.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
Roloff, go ahead.
Yeah, so the document is mainly about how to basically make the world more alive and change the law system so it's more realistic, I would say.
Okay.
And also it goes in a bit on like faction PvP and rule systems for that. But mainly for like how the guards act and stuff like that then. Anything else like you?
yeah. Well, a big thing is a division between lawful and lawless territory. So,
Oh,
guarded towns and pretty much lawfulness is basically about the radius of guards. So, of course, like the guarded towns, um, and if SV adds in the future, maybe like little guard outposts out in the wilderness. I know uh, Aralis, you even mentioned that in your interview yesterday that about there should be some type of medium security out in the wild, not lower, but at certain points. Um,
Yeah,
so
around
to
the towns.
but in the lawless area, everything away from guards, um, your faction enemies will show as red, just so you know they're your faction enemy. But everyone else will use the local gray system that was created in MO1. And local gray worked really, really well. And so, therefore, because a big complaint by PvPers is uh, one fight, you're going to go red. You get like 10 plus murder counts from a single PvP fight. But if you're doing all the PvP in the lawless area, um, it's going to be no repercussions because it's the lawless area. There's no crime.
So you're saying everybody that goes outside of town is gray automatically, whether they committed a
Not
crime or not?
Local
outside
gray,
town.
local gray.
Local gray.
yeah, local gray.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he doesn't. I think I'm right in saying you didn't mean that to be everywhere outside town.
Everywhere outside of guarded civilization. But the thing is,
Hmm.
we also have it that if there's like FSSV adds, which is a good idea, well, little guard faction outposts, tied to towns
Mm-hmm.
out in the wild, and then also for keep owners, their territory they decide whether their territory radius is lawful or lawless. So
Ah.
to give also control for keep. So if keep owners want to kind of civilize,
Mm-hmm.
the lawless lands.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I like that, and I also think that not only should it be a bit harder to get murder counts, it should be harder to get rid of them once you've got them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Our system that we set up in this document is that if you murder anyone in the range of a guard, you instantly get a -100 reputation with that faction. So you're gonna have to work your way back up to a positive reputation with that faction to be able to go into the towns and stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
It is, however, a bit nicer though than the old system where you might have to wait AFK in the game for like a year or two to get back to being a blue player. Uh, Now you just have to like do tasks or these other things that SV is planning to make you able to get reputation.
So okay, so people with TC, then you're saying they should be able to adjust exactly what they want in that territory.
well, if they want to put it as a lawful
Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
it'll be, you know, going
Same as
by the law.
another territory, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any faction guards.
And they'd have to attach themselves to one of the two factions, or maybe
Well,
more than two in
MO2
one.
has more than two
Yeah, I
factions.
think it's 8.
Yeah, I think it's 8 as well.
Yes, I don't know how many it is, but that sounds about right. But I wouldn't have thought you'd be able to attach yourself to factions that don't actually have any power in Merlin, wouldn't you?
Why not?
Well, it would work the same way. They would have their own guards, right?
I suppose.
Yeah, MO2 already has different factions in certain towns tied to certain factions.
Well, only the Kurites and the Tindramines, surely.
No, like Jungle Camp and Toxai is Anim Sith, for example.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought
Interesting.
they
Isn't that
were
with
Kurite
Tindrami?
guards in Toxai.
But the faction for it is Anim Sith. I think it's
Okay.
just the guards being not their own guards. We believe it's probably due to because the East really hasn't been expanded upon. December is supposed to be the Morin Kerr expansion. Go by the roadmap.
Okay.
And also multiple factions is better, and
Yes, it
two
is.
two factions become stale.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so and I see you wrote in the document here, and you got faction territory control, and then you're saying patrolling guards in between faction towns. So you're saying like Meduli to GK, that could be like a patrol coming up through, like going back and forth there all the time.
No,
Two,
don't think
nothing.
he was saying
No.
that. No.
No, not like
It would
that.
be like Tinder and Fabernum and Meduli, basically.
Okay. Okay.
Between
Or
towns of the
like,
same faction.
Same faction.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. But he.
And
Okay.
it's also like
They wouldn't really have a reason to send guards off to another faction's town.
No, I'm just saying because if you're saying TC control, like if the towns could make their own, I guess, no, no, if you have somebody in GK and they're friendly with Meduli, that's what I was thinking. Like they could send guards going to each town back and forth, kind of thing like that. But no, that's not. I see what you're saying because of the actual Tindrum and Meduli are on the same thing, like same faction. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
or like an example how Aralis mentioned yesterday. Take the Death Star trench run for MK. You know, why is it just 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 asking to
Yeah,
get
that should be
ganked there?
guarded.
Yeah, there should be you know, towns should be it'll be dependent upon Star Vault to have proper guard placement.
Yeah.
There used to
And
be a tower in that passageway, but there was never any guards or anything nearby that tower.
yeah, it's just a lot of placeholders, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also we want the guard command removed. That guards should just
Yeah,
naturally
it's
aggro.
unnecessary.
So explain that so people know what you're
Because
talking about.
guards should just naturally aggro criminals and
Yes.
you know, if they're getting attacked, just natural artificial intelligence let it do its thing, not just guards and everyone just swarms one dude. That's
Oh,
you know,
okay.
that's just a weird system.
Mhm.
Yeah, the guards gonna have to talk to each other so they don't all just run off. Because that just makes it open for other griefing to open up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see your point here. I hadn't thought of this.
Yeah. 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 Because like, what happens is they attack a horse, or one person attacks the horse, 5 guards hit him, and then the other 3 or 4 guys can do something else while all the guards are on that one
Yeah.
person. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that was also strategy of griefers. You just have
Yeah.
one person be the bait and everyone takes care of it, you know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good point.
They
Yeah.
tended to do this sort of thing quite a lot in Meduli. Because they could ride through the town,
Yeah.
pull all the guards out to the north, and then they could just do whatever they wanted in town.
Yeah, that happened a lot in MO1.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it right now. They're doing it with horses and whatnot. Just even in Botke, you're seeing it all the time
Yeah.
right now. So they run in with 4 or 5 guys and just bomb horses, and the first guy that attacks, all the guards go after him, and then the other 4 can keep going for a little bit after that. Yeah. All right.
And
And
also, like, certain locations should never be left unguarded, such as gates and banks and stuff like that. The more important areas.
Yeah.
So if there is someone aggroing the guards there, there should always be at least a couple of guards staying back.
Yeah. Because they were doing the teleporting guards. Is that still in there right now? Because I haven't really seen that too
Yeah.
much now. But
I think
The
so,
lictors
but it's
still
only the
teleport.
lictors do it.
yeah, okay. Yeah, we're not seeing that.
I
then.
noticed that you can't protect yourself against it in any way. It's like a magical attack, but it's at the same time it just bypasses any sort of magical defense as well.
Mhm. But the griefers are finding all these problems for us, and we're just trying to figure out how to fix them, right? Or you guys are.
Well, it's like, you know, griefing. You're not going to eliminate griefing,
No.
but you can. The whole thing is if you give. We're not trying to eliminate play styles of being a murderer or a griefer, but
Mhm.
for player retention, we got to do more to
Hmm.
curb the griefing, the ways to grief, because MO1, honestly, it was a griefer's heaven. You know,
Yeah.
you could do whatever the
Mhm.
hell you wanted. You
Yeah.
know,
We felt that.
yeah, it's like, you were able to grief so easily in MO1, and
Yes. Yes, it was a big problem.
Well,
Yeah.
Tendrum would
And
teach you how to grief when you got there as a player. As soon as you were
and
done in the beginner zone, you went out into the market area, and that's where you learned how to grief. And then you'd be in the farming zombies, and that's where you learned.
I know that
Yeah.
a lot of people like the PvP, around towns, whereas you go to the different towns and people come out to fight. But um, the constant complaint you hear from, you know, the people, let's say anti-PK or just against murder playstyle, is that you're killing the newbies and maybe, you know, they say fuck this game or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
well,
so to get the town PvP proximity and to encourage to not murder, to join a faction instead, hopefully it'll be enough PvP entertainment, because in the lawful areas, your faction enemies are going to show as red to you.
Mhm.
So you can kill them in the lawful areas, no repercussions. So you're
Yeah.
going after your faction enemies instead of just, the random
are
nub.
all other factions faction enemies?
Uh, we discussed that.
Yeah, it's a bit
It could
uncertain since
it could be that way, or it could be if Star Vault wants things lore based. I'm not big.
yeah,
I
it
don't know
very much
much about
depends
the
what Star Wars
uh,
choose.
Star Vault's actually lore. Um, so they could have it that only certain factions are enemies, and then some are just, neutral. You
Well,
know,
what do you guys think? Do you like if you're
I'd
in
like
a
to see things law based. Yeah.
yeah, if you're in a coalition, you got
Yeah.
10 people or 10 different groups in there, and you declare one of them declare war on another one. That means all the factions have to go to war. Like I don't know if that's
I would assume that a lot of players of Mortal. I know those, a lot of people get into the lore of Mortal.
Mhm.
So lore based factions, faction enemies and
Mhm.
who's neutral,
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
would probably be more well received.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd like to see the whole game world make more sense. I want to see this more as a world than as a game. Sort of,
Yeah.
parallel universe for us to adventure and live in. And the sort of thing that annoys you when you get griefed, more than the griefing, is some bastard kills you and then he's standing next to you at the bank 5 minutes later and nobody's bothering him. And you think,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
No, I do like the idea of factions, so you can get people in town and stuff for sure. I do like that because I don't like the where everybody goes out and has a big fight and you get 10 murder counts and you're done. You know what I mean? Like you're still gonna have red
Yeah.
people running around picking people off, which is fine because it'll lessen that. Like you won't have big roving bands, 50 murderers running around holding towns hostage. It should work a
Well, the
little
thing
bit
is,
better if it's
well,
faction.
so let's take let's say people in Bada go to attack Baduli, and the people in the Syndromic faction would be red to It's
Hmm.
the Curite faction.
Yes.
But all the random nubs that are farming the pigs or the graveyard, they're not going to be red.
Yes.
So they could choose to murder them and get the negative to let's say
Like rep.
yeah, I'm just trying to think. I think Rolufe, we have a little hole. It just popped in it of trying to remove the murder count system last night to make it all rep based. If
Yeah, I mean,
the Curite faction goes to Meduli and is murdering, it's not going to stop. They're not going to care about negative rep with the Tendremic faction. They're just kill everyone. I think we still need to keep the murder count system.
Well, you could just give them, if they go around murdering everybody, that might get them negative faction standing with all the factions.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
I mean, if they murder people in the Tendremic faction, they're gonna go negative with that faction, so that the guards automatically attack them anyway whenever
No,
they
but I'm
get
just saying,
close.
if they're killing people, Vadas, people, the Curite faction killing people at Meduli, that's the Tendremic faction. They're not
Mhm.
going to care anyway.
The Curite faction
Yeah.
might not care if they go and kill Tindremic people in Meduli, but if they go and kill random citizens, they might not be pleased about it.
Mhm.
So it's either it'll be adjustments to the reputation, how reputation loss is calculated, would need to be done if we don't want to put if the murder count system is to be entirely removed.
I think it works though, doesn't it?
Adjustments would need to be done. I don't know which one Starvelt will find more simpler, doing adjustments to the rep system to completely eliminate the murder count system, or just keep the murder count system in there.
Ah, yeah. I think the murder count system is just redundant,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
like
at
think
least with our idea.
adjustments could be done to the reputation system because I guess civilized nations, it's looked down upon if you're murdering the women and children,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think if you have two systems, no matter how clever you are, they're going to end up conflicting with one another at times, and you're going to get odd results.
Yeah, so we would need to edit the doc of killing, just innocent in general. We'll have to have some type of reputation loss. What the numbers to that even penalizes your own faction if you're killing innocents.
Well, the problem that they're gonna be finding is that if they go to Tindrum, for example, and kill someone near a guard, they instantly go minus 100% or
No,
minus 100 rep.
Yeah, but he's
Well,
saying
what
they
I'm
don't
trying to tell you,
care.
they're not going to care.
Well, they probably care when they have to walk back for an hour.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is, if
No.
I'm a Vada resident, Curate faction, all right, I'm just gonna go murder all the nubs at the pig farm and the graveyard at Meduli. I have negative rep with Tindrum anyway, Tindremic faction anyway. I don't care. There needs to be a repercussion,
Wouldn't that be
which
when the factions
which is
declare war on them and then they just go to the town and fight them?
which is what Aralis was saying of there needs to be a reputation loss to other factions because they look unkindly on killing of the innocents.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
I
you'd
wonder what
implement that.
the bounty system is that Henrik has been planning.
See, I said
That
that
might
too.
come into it.
Yeah. Like maybe town bounties or something. Player bounties. You could do that for sure.
Yeah.
And like people killing people out in nowhere, like you could come to town and put a bounty on that person, and then they can't turn their own head in, obviously, or whatever. But
No, you can't stop that sort of thing. You can always get a mate to turn their head in.
yeah,
But
that's
I
what I was
think
thinking, Google.
if you do like a -1 rep on all factions for every innocent killed, um, you know, that's a fuck over a red of being able to live in any town. So then it will
Yeah.
simulate being a red in MO1.
I guess they could make it so that
Uh,
if
Yeah,
we-
there's
I believe the
neutral
-1.
factions.
I believe the minus 100 for the territory you committed the murder, but there should be minus 1 rep to all other factions because your faction enemies are basically like, oh, those are the soldiers of the faction, and the nubs farming in the lawful, because anything around the lawful area is gonna be newbie stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
so it's essentially like you going around and burning a village to the ground and slaughtering all the women and children.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of murdering people in the guard proximities.
Exactly. And similarly, I think it also needs to go with this and I'm glad to see they've done this for towns, that there needs to be lower quality resources in medium security areas.
Agreed. It should all be like kind of like newbie stuff, because
Better than in town, but not as good as out in the lawless areas.
because of let's say newbie, they stockpile and people say, oh, Haven's enough, but let's say a newbie stockpiles in Haven, they come into Merlin and they're just dying repeatedly and they got nothing left. They need to be able to have a way to. It's not completely safe. You can still get murdered, like at the graveyard, but if there's like a couple guards there, might discourage, and people would be more focused on faction PvP than
Mm-hmm.
exploding newbies for fun, because it is fun
Yeah.
and it's hilarious watching someone explode in one shot. It never gets old, but yeah, I was being real here,
I
and
know, dude. I know. I get it. Like,
it's great. Just sometimes in MO1, you just killed someone just because you want the blood to splatter on your screen.
yeah,
I was disappointed when they toned down those effects.
yeah. If anything, they should be turned up, not turned down. That's for sure. That's why I appreciate like you guys coming in to talk about this like level headed. We need to talk about this. Like, we got to fix
Yeah,
this system. We have
sure,
to fix the
sure,
system.
sure. I agree.
It's a
very
mess.
beneficial. And I totally agree with
Yeah.
what Aku said earlier. If you and we can agree on this,
Yeah,
then we're probably pointing in the right direction.
we're
Like
going down the right
Aralis,
path.
yeah, I spawn camp you for over an hour. I just didn't stop.
Oh, lots of people have done that.
Yeah,
And
it's like
I was deliberately cooperating because it seemed to me that, if you spawn camp me, what am I losing? Absolutely nothing. You're the one who's racking up the murder counts.
Yeah,
yeah, but the thing is, you don't care. We don't care about the murder counts.
Maybe you don't, but I don't care about you killing me over and over. I mean, I lost my gear the first time. After that, it's irrelevant.
yeah, yeah. And if that happens now, like if the system can be changed and you spawn camp people and then and the system's hard on you, you'll do it a lot less, right?
Yeah, and if people want to still be a murderer,
Absolutely.
they still can. The playstyle's not getting eliminated,
No,
but
and we wouldn't want it eliminated.
No.
the reason in MO1, every PvP or you go red after one PvP fight. So
Yeah.
then you might as well not care about the murder counts and just murder everybody. And just go whack all the newbies, because a lot of times you do that at a town, you start slaughtering the newbies, they cry in town, and people do come out to fight. But if the carrot is factions, join a faction, you'll get plenty of PvP. Still got to go to the towns and you know
Mm-hmm.
kill those people around the town that are faction enemies. That there hopefully be enough PvP content that you don't get to that level of bored enough to want to just spawn camp someone for an hour just
Yeah.
for the laughs.
Yeah. Yeah. This like just depends how many murder counts you want. Yeah, we definitely don't want to get rid of the reds. We need the murderers running around trying to pick people off. That's a big
We
part of
need
the
a few
game.
of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like playing a Dungeons and Dragons game or something. If you can't get killed, it's no fun.
Yeah.
If you get killed every 5 minutes, it's no fun either.
There still has to be that, that gut feeling when you first started playing this game in MO1, you're running around and you're scared shitless to even go outside of Tindrum the first time because you know somebody's out there waiting for you. You still want that feeling when you join the game, right? Because that was one
When
of
I
the
started
best
playing,
buzzes.
when I was in playing, I was in Morincourt, and you couldn't get out of town. There was some bastard that you couldn't find standing on one of the roofs somewhere with a bow, and as soon as you left the gate, he'd fill you full of arrows, and that was that.
Yeah. Yeah, MO1 was vicious, man. Vicious.
And when
Yeah.
you were playing alone, of course, with the old style of guards, you'd be whacking a tree or something, somebody come round and whack you. You had to point at him and shout guards for a guard to come in.
Hmm.
Yeah, you were dead before you could turn round.
Yeah, that was from Ultima, that guard/guard thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, Malik, did you have anything you want to add it in?
No, I think there's a lot of great ideas here. I'm just a little concerned about the January launch date, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't
Yeah.
think the systems that they have in place today are going to be successful in January.
They're not claiming to have these systems in place.
Hmm.
They've already. I mean, I think you put this up on the forums, didn't you? Your thing, and Seb and Henrik responded. That's very similar to what we planned.
Hmm.
Oh, you got a reply from Henrik Rolufe on the forums?
No, I got a direct reply that this was something that they had sort of been planning. It's not exactly, but it's close.
Yeah. Well, I think he knows that it's got to be changed because we got to curb the griefing, but keep the red guys and keep that excitement when you first start this game and knowing that you at every corner there is death possible. So you know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
when do they intend to test it? Right? There's a lot of things that are being left in my opinion, that Henrik says, "Oh, we're going to get that in game," and they're major things, right? This faction system it's a great idea. It's a major part of the game. You can't just launch the game and then 2 months later, oh, we're going to totally change all the rules.
No, and
It's not
that's
fair,
something
right?
absolutely that's something I hate. That needs to be in before the launch, but I believe it
Right.
is planned to be in before the launch. I could be wrong.
Well, they don't have a lot of time.
No, they don't.
No.
But
But
to be fair to Stubble, they do get their act together. I mean, they move. The amount of stuff they get into the game in every 2 weeks is pretty impressive.
it is, and the amount of bugs and the amount of things they break is kind of scary too. So,
Yeah, we'll see. Like,
I
I
mean,
would love to see a layout of what they're planning. Like, they can tell us this, but I would like to see something, on paper that they can show us that this is what they plan to do to get this, help new players and keep the vets in the game, and hopefully the faction thing will really take off. Because man, those faction wars are just phenomenal once they get going.
yeah, I'd like to see a roadmap with a level of detail similar to Star Citizen,
Yeah.
It,
not just these boxes of more fauna, more
I
bosses,
hope you
right?
don't want it to do anything else like Star Citizen.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying the level of detail on their roadmap is impressive, even if they don't hit any of it,
Yeah.
right?
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So now, anything else about the guards that you guys wanted to discuss? Like,
well,
go ahead, Aku. Sorry.
also one thing is like, yeah, Starvault needs to flesh out their current systems because the current system right now is easily griefable. That if it's like this at launch, the current system in game with the reputation,
Hmm.
I know how to grief the fuck out of guilds with it.
Hmm.
IQ will be up there on the #1 murder counts list.
It's it's the way they have it set up. It there needs to be adjustments. Whether but Henrik told you that they're planning something along these this line of thinking that you and I came up with. But yeah, this needs to be done before launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was no, like, he never gave any kind of indication where he thought maybe they would be putting it in, because when you start looking at December, you got Christmas in there, so there's at least 2 weeks of half the work team probably working, right? And we
I
never
don't know about that. These Swedes, they're lucky to get the Sundays off once a month.
switch off over there. Let's just go and grab that roadmap real quick here. You guys continue. I'm just gonna open this real quick and I will look.
Yeah, the only answer I got from Henrik was that they had planned something sort of similar.
Mm-hmm. I honestly I do think that this is on the not all people are gonna enjoy faction wars, right?
Yeah, but you haven't made it compulsory.
That's right. Like you know, to accept a war, maybe you're able to turn them down with points. I think it was prominent points you
No, the
needed,
thing
eh?
is, everyone doesn't need to join a faction. That's the thing. If
Yes.
you just want to be a merchant, or
Yeah.
you just don't, or you're just a casual player, or you just don't want that extra PvP, you're like the lawless town, the lawless areas. That's plenty PvP for me. You just don't join a faction,
Yeah.
or you try a faction, you just leave it. If you're like, nah, this is just too much. You just leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So it supports the different play styles. And what Assman is typing, yeah, we have it set that if you're a keep owner, you can decide whether your territory you control is lawful or lawless. So if you wanted to abide by lawful rules, you make it lawful. If you want just everyone murdering each other with no repercussion, um, you know,
Yeah.
anyone that's just everybody instead of just like your faction enemies, yeah, then you make it, you decide lawful or lawless.
Yeah. Anybody comes in, boom. This is what it is.
Yeah, and we had it of um, you're not able to change an NPC town the lawful or lawless. It's no control over that
Hmm.
because
I totally agree.
we all know what we've done with territory control of towns. You turn the guards
Mm-hmm.
off, kill everybody inside.
Yeah.
You know,
Turn the
And
guards back on, put people on.
it's yeah. It's not just that. The whole thing to me is too easy. If you want to have a town, you ought to have to build a town.
Mm-hmm.
That whole business of you just stick a stick in the ground and, oh, that's my town.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was cheap.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
extending your faction's control should be done with the keeps.
Like
So it
the
gives
radius, you mean, of the keep?
Yeah, I don't know what Starval intends for territory control, but it should be tied into with factions. So, like, if you want to if you're a keep owner and you support the Curite kingdoms and you want to keep pushing, you make all your territory you control lawful. So it's kind of like for faction content, your people in your same faction are gonna want to be there and let's say fight the other factions. Maybe they're hostile. But if you're like screw that. I just want just free for all. Everyone murder each other. Just make your keep territory lawless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that also might spark things of you know, um, you're the say a keep spot outside of a town, and you're the enemy faction. That will be content too because people were like, "Fuck that! We don't want these enemy faction right outside our town." They're
Yeah.
just raiding us every day.
Yeah.
It's gonna give people motivations for fighting for their faction.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, if people just want to do the MO1 lifestyle, they still can
Lone
as
wolf
well.
it. Lone wolf it with a house, right? Have your house and run out as a red guy. See a blue guy out there, go out, pick him off, come back to your house, log out. That's it.
But like Aralis was saying also of um, y- he was agreeing with something I said about you're never gonna remove all the griefing, you're
No.
never gonna remove all murderers. But if you give enough of a carrot for an alternative, it's gonna make it a lot less people because a lot of PvPers they're not murderers. They just want the PvP, But if the game play encourages that PvP, or you might as well just be a murderer, you're gonna do it. Then there's nothing to you got to take away the incentives. It's the same way with you don't want to incentivize Zerg mechanics. It's the same thing. You don't want to give incentives to be a murderer or a griefer. But if you want to make a Zerg, you still can. If you want to be a murderer or a griefer, you still can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just bigger repercussions on the murdering, which it should be. It should be hard to be a red person running around picking people off. Like, it shouldn't be
Well,
that easy, right?
well, the thing is,
Not in civilized areas.
Yeah,
faction
exactly.
content will encourage people to join factions, so they're not going to go around towns murdering the nublets because they're going to have faction people to fight.
Exactly.
They're going to get their instant gratification.
That's what I mean. That faction thing will hopefully appease the PvP that people are looking for, without going outside and just killing new people, which are just walking out the door and haven't got a clue what's going on, and they're splatted already. You know.
Because if there's more content, then you're not going to get bored. And yeah, because sometimes you do it out of boredom, also.
Yep.
Like I told Rolufe, what I blow over 3,500 structures. I did
Yeah.
that out of boredom.
Yeah.
But,
I should have
Just
thought that
the
would
other
be a big
titles.
creator of boredom.
well, actually, to be fair, I wanted to see what the 2,500 destruction title was, and it was super lame. And I messaged Seb about it, and about how lame it was. I told him the title is so stupid, I will never show it, and no one will see the content you have made. And he goes and responds by making a 5,000 destruction title, and told me he made a title just for me. It would be something cool or whatever.
Oh jeez.
So I went and blew up another 1,000 structures, but then MO1 basically died after that.
There weren't any structures left.
That's right.
I mean, you were reduced to blowing up your own stuff by the end, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. And I was out of the game by then, so I didn't get to see any of that. Oh, you guys. Yeah, Van Aert here had just a comment that I'm reading here, and he said in the stress test, he said griefing was from boredom. Basically, that's what in the last stress test. That's why everybody was griefing so hard, because they were just bored, right? But
Yeah,
there's
and,
way
and the
more
thing
content
is,
now.
and especially as you're spawn camping someone and you know they're getting upset, that's just gonna make you not stop. You're gonna spawn camp them until they log out or spawn
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I wasn't upset. I was thinking to myself, I'm giving you murder counts. They still didn't stop.
No.
Yeah, no, because that's the thing. You don't care.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
if you are, if
No,
you're
all I
in
meant,
one
I know what
PvP
you're saying,
fight,
but what
because MO encouraged to be murders, because one PvP fight you're getting 10 plus
yeah,
murder counts
no,
deep. There's no point. That's point of no return. So you might
yeah,
as well spawn
absolutely.
camp and do everything.
Absolutely. But what I was saying was, you didn't need somebody crying about being grieved
Yeah.
to carry on
Yeah.
spawn camp.
That's true. Yeah,
Very true. Very true.
I remember. Sometimes you do stuff when you're just hammered drunk, like me and Metal. We dual strike the bridge to death, and
Jesus.
you actually rode right by us, crossed the bridge, but we were so hammered we failed to kill you. Our response time. And we're just mind numbing, just dual striking over and over. Yeah, I don't even know why we did that, but yeah, dual strike the bridge to death.
Yeah. I think maybe your number one consideration shouldn't be MO, but your alcohol consumption.
In ammo. Yeah.
Oh no, most of the time game sober, but extreme something like dual striking a bridge, because that would have probably been countless hours, but it only felt like 30 minutes.
Um, let, let's touch. Let's hear what you guys think a little bit more about the keeps. in the radius of them. What you guys think on that? Like how far they should be going? How big can you go on the map? Like, oh, I think a lot of people are unsure how this is gonna exactly work right now.
I'd say not too big.
hmm So if you know how the keep is in a central spot, and then there'd be just a ring around it, and that would be it. You couldn't expand it in any way, shape, or form, right?
That would be my feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the
Yeah.
whole thing about TC territory control structures was a mistake in MO1. And I think it was a mistake in Eve. They did something very similar. I don't like artificial things. I was saying this yesterday, so apologies anybody who
hmm
heard me have this rant. But if you want to control something, you should have to get out there and control it, not just stick up a flag.
hmm
Similarly, I don't like systems, for example, that let you tax people's houses in your area. I think if you want to get tax out of people's houses, you ought to have to go knock on their door, give me taxes, or else, you know.
Just not. Yeah, the subsidies, like you're always paying tax on the house. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that part too. Yeah, and I believe that in MO1, like RPK definitely took the TC thing to a whole nother level where they probably never even thought it was going to be possible to do what they ended up doing there at one point. Like it was just TC towers on the top of mountains where you have to die to get the stuff up there and all that. Like it was almost out of control at one point.
Shit was
I
fucking
say,
AIDS.
not sure about the almost.
Well,
There's
I was involved in a lot of it. It was a lot of work, but you ended up having
MO1.
everything, and it was silly at the end.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they should have no free placement of stuff because it's so easily abused and
hmm
exploitable. And same thing, uh, yeah, people even did it with houses. Got
yeah,
houses in
Yeah, but
unsiegeable locations on top of stuff, and you're like, what the fuck?
yeah,
I didn't mind with the houses. But the trouble with the TC stuff was you could get to places with your TC stuff that nobody else could get to because they couldn't plant TC stuff because it was your
yeah,
territory.
yeah,
Oh,
Um,
that's what people did with houses. They used TC to get up super high with
mhm,
ramps
yeah,
hmm
and then build a house up there,
Remember
and then
that?
you get rid of the ramps and you can't build in that radius,
yeah.
yeah.
so
But on the other hand, I'm going to say, what's the point of a house you can't actually get to?
um
That you couldn't get there, and we
well,
could put TC beside it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the TC is the problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If
Uh,
it's not the house.
yeah, well, yeah, without the free placement of TC, that would remove houses in
hmm
places in those fucked up locations,
Yeah,
because otherwise you get stuff like the you know, with the TC, you get stuff in the mountains where, oh, you have a pet relic up there. The most that relic should even belong in the game.
That was crazy. That
S-
thing.
and what you do is you level up the stuff up there,
Yeah.
turn it into a receipt, mail the receipt down because the mailman nodes connect,
Yeah.
hmm,
and yeah, it's so so abusable. And that's just one example. There was nonstop abuse of the TC system for a decade. You know.
Yeah. And I think actually they agreed and said that like no more of that. So that was one good thing that they corrected right away for MO2. Like he
yeah.
immediately said that because it
No
for
TC towers, he
yeah
said.
first thing
But
I
we don't know
asked
what
is
we're
it gonna
getting instead.
yeah well I don't know I think just to keep radius and that kind of thing will be a good
That's good
start.
enough for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Like your keep is your own city. Like you can run it any way you want basically, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
and you got housing placement all through that little bit of territory with the inside the radius of the keep, so you can place all your own strongholds, housing, all that kind of thing, and it should be relatively safe to run and whatnot.
Well, there was
Um,
that picture, stream from Henrik, well, it's castles now, and was his latest podcast, and you had strongholds inside the castle,
oh,
because the castle's so gigantic,
nice.
the courtyard and everything.
Yeah.
Like a stronghold look like inky dinky, little tiny little thing, like a child's toy. You know,
But
um,
inside
it's
the
actually
giant
pretty
castle.
decent size.
Yeah, the castles are humongous.
chat.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put a question in, just put question in front of it so we can highlight it and see it real easy. Assman said, "I don't think TC should be. I think TC is a great idea. It should be improved, not removed."
If they
That's a good
do
question.
TC, I think stuff should be in preset locations that you have to capture.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't even know. Preset TC. I don't know.
Like
That doesn't.
locations, like capture points. If
Yeah.
they're gonna do something because free placement was it was just terrible.
But what's TC for, in your opinion? I mean, if you bear in mind that we're not going to be allowed to build walls in these areas, and if you're not going to be able to take over NPC towns, who gives a monkeys about TC?
I think there's.
Yeah, I think if you just have the castle radius is really gigantic for enforcing lawful or lawless rules, that's a big thing.
What if?
I
Okay.
suppose.
Look at it this way. What if your faction outgrows the area of your keep size? The
Uh,
radius of your keep, then.
Then you're going to have to go out and control some territory outside that by strong arming it.
Hmm.
Either take another keep over, or you start building strongholds, I guess.
Yeah.
So what are the strongholds going to give? I didn't watch the stream, so I'm just wondering if
Well, you're going to be able to place guards in them and that kind of thing.
so you can put them outside your keep radius, but still close to your territory, and might be infringing on somebody else's.
maybe
Yeah, you probably use them like outposts.
Mm-hmm.
can it expand territory control? Did they say that?
No, I don't think they've said anything on that. But
I think everything is built inside the stronghold.
Radius, like inside the.
Is it getting a radius?
I don't know. I'm unsure what he had for the keeps. I didn't see the stream. I missed it. Gak says get another keep. I'm like, yeah, we're thinking that, but if castles and strongholds are going to give more radius, like people will use those. I guess it seems okay.
Oh, I would think the keep is getting the most area.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're getting a wall as well, so that's a massive bonus.
If they tie it into strongholds, adding territory control to your castle radius,
Mm-hmm.
they would just need rules of not being able to place stuff in unsiegeable locations.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have all the silly TC rules, you're not going to be able to get to unsiegeable locations.
Or do you consider it unsiegeable if you have to portal there?
No, but
we did that a lot.
We did that a lot, but that isn't going to work now, is it? Because that only worked because you portaled in and then you called your mount to you, which climbed up the cliff and delivered loads of stuff.
Yeah.
If your mounts won't do stupid stuff like that, well, portal in what do you like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, if portal blockers are not a thing, because that was also the other thing is you got up there, and yeah, the
It was quite
resources.
amazing the tower you had next to MK or Moki. I mean, we had to basically do like one of those old Counter-Strike sliding maps.
Yeah,
to get around and up there.
The mountain surfing as a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so many weird stuff. So many weird stuff in Immortal. But yeah, I guess if you could not call a horse up terrain it can't ride, but would Starval be able to program that for the horses to not do that?
I think they already have to a certain extent.
Van Erd has a question here. He says he's asking, can't other guilds build strongholds? How would that link with their radius? That if they don't own a castle. So
I think a stronghold isn't that just a house?
It's
it's a keep.
It looks like the size of a keep.
Yeah, it was a keep basically.
Yeah, it's a big house, I
it's
guess.
just a house.
Yeah. So it looks like Van Art. I think you can just build strongholds wherever, as long as it like if somebody had to keep radius, they wouldn't let you build inside their radius. Like you could build out wherever you wanted, and that's your area. It's like putting down a house, as far as I'm reading from everybody in here.
Well, the
That's
thing
Yeah.
is, if everything's contained inside the houses and strongholds,
Mm-hmm.
we were just suggesting an idea. If they wanted to do territory control with the castles, maybe Starvault can use either strongholds to expand the radius or preset locations like some other games do,
Mm-hmm.
where you capture that and that expands your radius.
Yeah, because
Honestly,
could do certainly,
just
but
making the strongholds basically TC towers. That would have changed everything how it worked in MO1. You
yeah,
wouldn't have been able to place stuff in places you couldn't get to.
Yeah, I guess as long as you can't be building TC outside your castle walls, that would solve probably so many of the you know
I don't see a
abuses of
need
the
to be
TC
able to
system.
extend it. Um,
Yeah, if they keep it like that, they'll prevent any type of abuse of unsiegeable stuff.
yeah,
But how would you build the town?
I don't know.
no, I don't know either. Outside of having a keep, that is definitely an issue. Another thing I
Yeah.
think that would solve a lot of problems is I never liked the fact that ghosts could just go charging through doors.
Yeah, but like the ghosts now, they can't see anything. Like before, you could see something as a ghost. Now you can't, right? Is that the difference?
Yeah, but you could still, as a ghost, how you planned a siege in MO1, you went as a ghost and you scouted out all the defenses,
Yes.
saw where weak points were in their walls, certain joints that you could shoot at this spot. You hit maybe like 5 different walls at the same time.
Mhm.
You looked for weak points. I always analyzed um, defenses as a ghost,
Yeah, absolutely. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
we did as well.
Just
but he's saying of like
But
because if you stopped ghosts being able to go through gates and doors and stuff, you wouldn't be able to analyze people's defenses ahead of time.
yeah, and then this whole business
Yeah.
of portaling in unreasonable places just wouldn't be an issue. You just wouldn't be able to get in there. So
hmm. They're actually talking in chat here again. Henrik stated earlier in the stream, strongholds would be meant for smaller guilds that couldn't take a castle or control a castle. Which, yeah, I think we're just talking about is like a small guild would put a stronghold down. Would they get a radius marker?
They
I,
should not. No.
I think that's what we were talking about. You should be able to free build, put those strongholds down wherever they fit, and build your houses around it. And you guys have that little area. It's just you have no radius, I guess,
yeah,
because the
there's no
map's
Yeah,
big
no
enough.
ability to place walls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No walls or anything.
It looks like the stuff, like things you would add with TC and MO1, you can just add inside the houses and strongholds.
Yeah.
It's inside the actual structures.
which makes more sense to me.
Mm. Yeah, I think so too. Any more questions in chat there? Give them, throw them out here, guys. We're gonna finish up here shortly. So if you have any more questions, there, toss them in. Yeah, because I guess Henrik must have been talking about in his stream a little bit. But I agree with
Yeah, he did.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Roloff.
No, no, I just mean he was talking about it that like how they're gonna work and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I didn't see all of it.
Yeah, but
But
you know what? There is actually probably enough area if you could save enough money to buy a stronghold and put it down. Why couldn't that have radius for a smaller guild that wasn't taking a
but what
keep
would they
spot?
need the radius for? If everything
Yeah,
can be built inside of the stronghold, why would you need
Just as
exactly.
just
something
as just
outside?
as a guild marker. I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
I don't
But
like these artificial markers
yeah,
myself.
Okay.
especially when Mortal Online, you know, if that fan-made MO map wasn't a thing, there would be no map, and you had to learn Mortal
Yes.
Online with markers. And the thing is, some markers are universal, like everyone knows, but or you know, some markers are guild based. They have that,
Hmm.
and other guilds call them different stuff.
Yeah,
Those
and
same
I love that.
locations. Yeah, I agree
That
with you.
that
That
was
was
so
great.
confusing though. I've been in a few guilds before I joined ID, and it was like every guild was using a different call signs for places, and that was super confusing.
Get it?
But really immersive. I mean, I
Yeah,
love that
it's
there's no
great, but
in-game map.
yeah,
A lot of the things that are great about Mortal are the things it doesn't have.
Yeah.
No in-game map, no teleporting. All those sort
Local
of,
banking is great also.
yeah, and no
yeah,
missions. Um, I mean, when you go around in Mortal, it's like going around in the real world. You look where you're going. Whereas in most games, it's like you're just looking at your mobile phone, going, "Must be a left coming up soon."
Or you or
yeah.
you or you click on the map and set a marker down and it runs you there.
Yeah, oh, God.
Yeah,
Um,
Mortal. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, some games. Yeah, you do that and just auto runs you there,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But MO Mortal was, I think, it's one of the few games where it's like, oh shit, I'm lost. I'm actually fucking lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We heard of people getting lost, so lost in the old jungle that
Yeah.
they would scrap their characters and start again.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. GAC. No territory expansions or walls with strongholds, but the ability to add building tables, and small yard for growing crops. I don't know if that's even going to be an issue. If you have a house, you'd probably there is a little area around your house that if you put down a house and it's a half acre, you have an acre with that plot, and you can put crops and stuff down with it. I think that's how it'll work. I don't think it's I don't.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard anything about the farming stuff yet.
Well, there's going to have to be some radius to your house, right? So you can use
Yeah,
it. Or if it's a quarter, basically a plot of land is an acre. Your house takes up a quarter. You have 3/4 of an acre to build or put things down or whatever, crop wise or whatever you want to put outside a stable, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I have no issue with that as long as Star Vault restricts what can actually be built. None of these walls and ramps and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
no palisades basically.
And and if
I think
ghosts
the
can't
biggest problem was
actually,
the ramps.
and I think portal blockers shouldn't exist, but I agree with Aralis. Ghosts should not be able to. Actually, wait a second. If you're a ghost and you can't go through a gate, how's
Then
your
you're stuck.
how are you going to use it as your own, let's say, castle?
Uh,
Teleport to nearest priest.
Oh yeah, that's you
yeah,
just bind to that priest. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a function now. I forgot. Yeah, that people wanted for years in MO1.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I can get full behind that. No more ghosting through doors and stuff,
but
and
the problem is when you're logging in and you haven't been in the game for a while. Maybe you just rage quit or something in the middle of a battle or something, and they replace the gate. Now you're stuck in that place. You just can't get out.
No, but you can still do teleport to priest.
yeah, home
Yeah,
priest.
but what if the closest priest is in the town or like
No,
inside
but
that area?
But it
you
won't
have
be
a
your
bound.
priest.
Yeah, you bind to a home
You,
priest.
you can have your home priest. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
The
you
home
can
home
figure it out
priest
then.
thing solves so many things.
It's
Yeah.
sort of like the Hearthstone in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, but you got to be dead to use it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Question there. Gak said, yeah, there's going to be no walls with strongholds. He mentioned that in a few streams about the strongholds. There'd be no walls with them. But there's always, like, we used to use the bank as a wall in buildings. because it had more HP than the walls did.
But
So-
the trouble with that was, I mean, yes, you could do it to a certain extent, but you weren't
Yeah.
supposed to be able to build them next to each other.
No, and that's what I'm was getting to. The point with the stronghold is you're not going to be able to build the stronghold, but you're not going to be able to put anything tight to it anyways. So if people are thinking about using them as for blocking tools or blocking in whole areas, you know what I mean, making a circle or a square or something to fill in a town and take the middle of it by using housing in that, probably won't work this time around at all. That's about it for the question. Anybody else got questions there? Get them in. We're gonna let everybody go here.
Yeah, I guess a main reason to own a castle would be because you actually want a walled fortification
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to have strongholds and houses within those walls. You know, kind of make your or you know you wanted it just to make yourself a city. You know, um, but and
Pre-built city basically,
yeah,
because you already have the walls.
yeah, you
Yeah.
already got the
You can't
walls,
really
but
do it in a special shape or anything.
yeah, but
Which is a great pity, but you can see why they've
Yeah.
done it, because, I mean, they were just getting, because people could put walls anywhere, a lot of them were buggy and floating in the air. And
What they could do though is that they would make a preset area or like a region around the keeps, which doesn't go up along the like mountains and stuff.
I'm afraid I didn't understand that, what you meant there.
yeah, repeat that.
Well, I think it says like counties and whatnot, but you don't have any building area around mountains, so you can't actually build up on locations where you basically can't get to.
Well, the building up to locations required ramps,
Mm-hmm.
and if you
Yeah.
can't build any type of wall structure, that includes the ramps. And
Well, if they would allow it doing that, I mean,
I think they
then
should
you
not
wouldn't
allow.
actually be able to build up on the mountains because you don't have building area there.
Did he
Basically, TC free areas.
did he say anything about being able to build ramps freely or anything?
No, I think they have just removed all of that and
Yeah.
just
I mean,
allows you
ramps were
the
walls, right?
pre-built stuff
I
around
mean,
the keeps.
Yeah.
they never were ramps per se.
Oh no, they did add later on.
Scaffolding.
They added that you could just buy a ramp for 10 gold.
Oh,
Yeah, I
God.
remember that.
Just a ramp by itself.
Yeah.
And you climbed up the ramp, you placed another ramp, you were able to scale mountaintops. It was obscene.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and then just delete the ramps behind you so no one
Yeah.
else could follow you.
Yes.
I'd
Yep.
forgotten all about that, but now you say it comes
Yeah.
back to me.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I was
we
thinking.
climbed a few mountains trying to get to PC towers.
Yeah. But now, like getting down to the jungle is much easier. There's multiple ways down, so you're not going to need that kind of thing either, right? Like for just gameplay, I mean, like PVE gameplay. But like I said, we don't have to worry about TC being up on the top of
Plus,
mountains
people
now.
aren't going to get us lost in the
Yeah.
jungle.
Oh, it's
In the old jungle, it was only really the one way out, and it was damn difficult to find.
Yes, it was horrible, horrible. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up here, guys, and let everybody go. I got things to do. Aralis, if you want to add anything in, you go ahead first, and then we'll just go around the room real quick.
I think I've said my bit, thanks, except that basically I agree with all you've said.
Excellent.
It sounds good.
Yeah, I think it was a great discussion. I'm glad you guys came out. Roloff, go ahead there if you want to add anything in before we go.
I don't know, just want to thank for allowing us to have this time.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I'm glad you guys came. I think this needs to be talked about quite a bit more yet, and I think we need to get Henrik in the stream here and bombard him with some questions, and let's get some straightforward answers, not hearsay, past tense stuff.
Yeah, because
Aku?
this type of system, if the community really likes, let's say, to gear things more towards like a faction
Yep.
play style, but it doesn't eliminate griefing and murdering play styles. It just offering a carrot for make less
we don't
murderers out
want
there.
them eliminated. We just want them restrained.
Yeah, so I think this faction idea is enough of a carrot to encourage less murderers to be out there. And if enough of the community likes this, and if Henrik likes it, something like this or something similar needs to be done before launch, desperately, because you can't do this after launch. All this stuff needs to be in place beforehand.
I honestly
Agreed.
think it'll enhance the gameplay completely though, with factions.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because you
make
need
it feel like it's more alive.
The
yeah,
thing is that we've got to remember we don't know what they're currently planning anyway,
Yeah.
and he did say something a lot like this.
Yeah.
So
like we're just
Yeah.
here speculating, but I'm sure it's going to be very similar. We've all played games where there's factions and that kind of thing, and we know, like, we got an idea. But
It would be great if you could arrange for Henrik to show up on a podcast with you.
yeah, we'll hit him up and see what he says. But don't hold your fingers, cross your fingers on that one.
Yeah, I know.
Malik,
he's a busy man.
he's busy. There's no doubt about it. But actually, I just wanted to add in, guys, that on November 26th is going to be 1 year since I actually started streaming this game.
Oh,
So,
congratulations.
Yeah, that was the very first time that I hit up and went live with it. So it's been a long haul so far. Malik, do you have anything you want to add in?
Yeah, just thanks for sharing these ideas with us, guys. I mean, this type of discussions the way we get things out in the open and hopefully get those guys to listen.
Yeah, just talking, anything, guys, and just coming up with ideas. And you guys, like the stuff that you laid out on the sheet here is it's good stuff. I put it in chat. You guys can all read it over again if you have stuff. You guys can PM these guys and talk further on it, and maybe we can, if we have more interest, we can go a little harder into it in a couple weeks or whatever. And
Yeah, like
go
Rolufe,
from
we
there.
could do that. We could do that little edit of besides the minus 100 rep for the target faction you killed, you also get minus 1 rep for all other factions
Yeah,
upon a
Yeah.
murder.
yeah, that should be added in. And
Yeah, that solved that loophole.
let me see if
Yeah.
I got the
Yeah,
link.
exactly.
Let me put that link in chat here again for you guys before I go. Like I said, I want to thank chat for showing up today. Like, we have lots of people in here. For the numbers being low in the game, we're still the interviews we're hitting fairly good numbers in them again. But take that document, guys, read through it, and if you have questions or you think you can add to it, definitely. Hey, merch, I see it. I want to thank chat with the questions and being here to help us out. You guys getting our numbers up there and being in here. Like these, everybody in here cares about this game, right? And we have to change it from MO1. We can't have that same situation go on where new people are just being farmed for jokes. Like there has to be a change in it. So I want to thank chat and all our guests today for attending, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks very much.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate
thanks.
everybody. Thank you guys. Peace.